Ladies and gentlemen, what's going on? We are back with UFC 303 Procházka versus Pereira. I'm going through a breakdown of the card that just happened. It is 2 o'clock in the morning right now. Right after the card had just finished. I'm going to go through down all the prelims, all the main event fights. It was a fucking ridiculous card. I made a lot of money. Very happy. And we're just going to go through the card real quick. Here we go. First fight of the night, Vinicius Oliveira versus Ricky Simon. I took the over 2.5 in this fight. I also took Ricky on a couple bets. I was wrong in this fight. Ricky just looked like he wasn't there. Vinicius had his hands down the entire time. Showed little urgency. Looked incredibly confident. Ricky looked like he was just tentative the whole time. Didn't feel like he was really throwing his shots. I didn't feel like he looked very confident in there. I felt like he felt confident maybe for the first half a round, and I think Vinicius clipped him a couple times to where Ricky felt like he was losing the stand up on the feet. Ricky got a couple good takedowns and then he just let him up. I'm not sure why. I'm not sure why he gave up the position. I'm not sure why he felt that he would fare better on the feet. But that was an incredible mistake, and I think Ricky really lost an opportunity to take out an up-and-coming contender. So Vinicius took home the decision. A lot of people thought he was going to knock out Ricky. I just think Ricky's too... what's the word I'm looking for? Whatever. He's got a nice chin. That's all I got to say. Next fight on the card, Ray Tesura versus Carlos Hernandez. Carlos almost won the fight. I believe he did win one round, maybe. I'm trying to remember. Carlos put up a good fight on the ground. He got a lot of good scrambles. He was able to take down Ray in the first round. I believe he won that round. I'm not 100% sure because Ray did end up getting a takedown in the end of that first round. He might have lost the first, but I believe he did win the third, if I'm not mistaken. But Carlos put up a good fight against an up-and-coming contender. Ray Tesura just moved on to 10-0. I felt like Tesura did enough to win the decision. I felt like he put Carlos in some bad spots, but I felt like Carlos actually showed some incredibly improved ground game. He looked like almost on par with Ray's ground game. It just looked like Ray was a little bit ahead of him on the ground. It looked like he was able to grab the better positions. Carlos was able to scramble out of a lot of good submission attempts by Ray, but it just unfortunately wasn't his day, and he lost a hard-fought decision there. I took the over 2.5 in this round, or in this fight as well. I just felt like those guys were not getting finished either way. Next on the fight prelims, we had Martin Buday against Andre Arlovski. Now, Arlovski looked old as shit. Martin Buday looked basically the same. They're both cans. Andre's a can now because of age. Martin's a can now because he's just ass. The best guy he beat before was Jake Collier, and it's a terrible fucking win. Martin looked like shit. He kind of deserved to lose, honestly. I felt like Andre pulled through on the third round, and that was kind of the deciding round. He lost, it's whatever. It was a coin flip. I wouldn't be mad either way. But Martin Buday is trash, and he's not going to beat anyone in the top 15. I just don't believe it. So, I mean, Andre, I think, held a spot. Maybe not. I don't remember. But even if he did hold a spot, he shouldn't have. And if Martin holds a spot right now, he will not hold it for long. I don't know where he is in the top 15 rankings or if he's even gotten through after the Shamil Gaziev knockout. But he does not deserve to be up there. It was a pitiful performance. And I also took the over 2.5 in that fight because I just felt like, those guys are both trash. I mean, Andre almost got knocked out. It seemed like he got a couple uppercuts, but, he got through and he put... I'm going to make my camera a little bit bigger here. And he put up a good fight. Next on the fight cards, we had Jillian Robertson. I believe this is the top of the prelims. Early prelims. Jillian Robertson versus Michelle Waterson-Gomez. A lot of people took Waterson-Gomez last second because I think a bunch of other MMA YouTubers were talking about how Michelle Waterson-Gomez was better on the feet. Yeah, you should rewatch this fight if you still believe that because Jillian beat the fuck out of her. She showed incredible improvement in the stand-up. She looked a lot better than whatever I've seen before. She was throwing from the hips a lot better. She wasn't just throwing 1, 2, 3 down the pipe with her eyes closed like Juliana Pena. She was throwing some calculated strikes, and she was just outlanding Gomez. I think she personally, I think she got a 30-26. I think she 10-8'd her in every single round. I think Jillian completely dominated her. I think she honestly should have got a submission victory. I think she maybe she definitely could have got an armbar a couple times there. I think she just gave up the position a couple times. It was a bit of a mistake, but I think Jillian's going to be able to look forward to a couple, you know, better fights in the near future, a couple more difficult opponents, because I think they're going to bump her up there after beating someone with a ranking. I think she's, what is she right now? Let's see. She is number 15. She's probably going to be number 13 after this fight. So I think she's going to get probably top 10 in the next fight. Next, we have the regular prelims. Peyton Talbot versus Yanis Gamori. That's exactly what you thought it was going to be. Peyton Talbot made a YouTube video on how Yanis can actually beat him. He said to throw the leg kicks, and that would be your opening to take my legs out. Yanis threw a high kick to start the fight. And with 10 seconds or 12 seconds, no, I think it was 14 seconds in, he throws a leg kick, and Peyton Talbot throws an overhand left, completely, yeah, I think it was an overhand left. It completely knocks Yanis out, basically, on the way down. Yanis kind of snapped his head back, got whiplash on his neck. Ref didn't stop it, so Peyton felt like throwing some hammer fists in his fucking face just to make the ref happy. And, yeah, first round KO. The under was a easy hit. The under 2.5 was a minus like 170 or something. That was insane. But that was a nasty knockout, man. That was probably the worst one on the card other than the main event. Next on the prelims, we got Jean Silva against Charles Jourdain. Charles got fucked up. Charles got outboxed in round 1. He got outboxed in round 2. And he got knocked out with a nice uppercut by Jean Silva. And then follow-ups. Charles Jourdain is good. Jean Silva, as predicted, he's just better, man. He's just shown more of improvement. I just don't think Charles has some bad losses, man. I just don't think he's going to be beating these guys that are up and coming who are on a long win streak, man. They got a lot of pressure. They got a lot of comfortability that, you know, like when you're on a big win streak like that, like Jean Silva is, you know, you're not really worried. You feel very confident walking in. You feel like you're a world beater, and that's kind of what he showed, man. He looked incredibly confident, throwing big shots, using slick boxing, and just finding his shots and picking them properly. Charles couldn't really start anything and couldn't really finish anything. He kind of threw 1 or 2 shots, was throwing some nice kicks, and Jean just said, fuck you, and took him down and beat the shit out of him. Next, I also took Jean Silva on that at plus 100. Peyton Talbot I took under 2.5. Jillian Robertson I took by submission and for her to win. Didn't get the submission, but whatever. Next, we had Andre Fili versus Cub Swanson. Personally, I thought Cub Swanson won. I thought he kind of got robbed. Andre Fili won round 2. I thought Cub Swanson won round 1 and 3. He showed some impressive boxing. He showed some impressive cardio. He just looked like the fresher fighter going into the end of the 3rd round. He looked like he was more dominant in the 3rd round. He just looked like he was closer to the finish than Andre was. He was landing better shots. He was rocking Andre pretty bad in the last round and a half of that fight. Andre did win the fight. I mean, I guess you can't really be mad. It was a split decision. But I'm going to be salty just because I had money on Cub, and I really thought Cub won. I just don't see how you think Andre Fili won that 3rd round, and I don't think how you think he edged it out. Cub had, you know, range problems in this fight. He's known for having leg kick problems because he's not known for switching stances very well. Andre didn't use any of those, you know, like, whatever. Cub Swanson lost. That is what it is. Next, we have Joe Pyfer versus Marc-Andre Barriel. Is this top? Yeah, this is top of the prelims. I had Joe Pyfer round 2 knockout. Joe Pyfer dropped him in the 1st round with a fucking disgusting overhand right. Put Mark completely out, unconscious. He got rocked with, I don't know what it was to start, but he started putting up his hand. And when you see Marc-Andre Barriel put his hands up like this, he always ends up getting knocked out. It always happens. So, it's unfortunate. It is what it is. Joe Pyfer, I did end up winning some cash with that. Joe Pyfer by knockout was plus 180 just because I guess that Jack Hermanson fight scared a lot of people. Remember, guys, he is still dominant. He is a fantastic wrestling guy as well, but he has some nasty hands. We also have the main card now. Ian Machado Gary versus Michael Venom Page. Ian Machado Gary won a hard-fought fight. I thought Michael Venom Page won round 1. I thought Ian Machado Gary edged out round 2. Oh no, maybe those are. Wait, hold on. I might be wrong about that. Let me see. UFC 303 scorecards. They should have posted them. Yes, there it is. So let's see real quick. No, it was opposite. Sorry, my bad. Ian won round 1, edged out in the striking. Round 2, Michael Venom Page just kind of put on a striking show. He was using his karate point just better. Like he was, I think he only had like 10 strikes or something, but the pop in his strike was incredible. But Ian Machado Gary, Michael Venom Page controlled top position for the first half of the 3rd round. Ian Machado Gary ended the last minute and 40 seconds or something like that in back control with Michael Venom Page standing trying to shake him off, except, well, in the position to shake him off, but he wasn't shaking him off. I think if he would have shooken off Ian Machado Gary, he would have probably won the decision, but Ian stayed on the back and was fighting for the neck the entire time and was closer to finishing the fight before that bell rung, so I think he did win the 3rd round. So I think Ian did win the right decision. I did win money on Ian Machado Gary as well as Ian Machado Gary by decision. I just felt like these guys were not getting knocked out. Michael Venom Page is a good point boxer, but he's just, you know, you gotta have a little bit more in the UFC. You gotta have some takedown defense. You gotta be able to work yourself up from bottom position. Next on the main event, we have Macy Chasson against Maya Bueno Silva. Macy Chasson lost the 1st round, I thought. 2nd round, Maya Bueno Silva ate a nasty elbow, opened up a disgusting cut over her right eye, I believe right here. It was a big gash, and immediately after leaving bottom position, which I thought was going to happen too, ref called time. I think it was Chris Taglioni. Called time. Doctor came in. They immediately stopped the fight. It was just too big of a cut to continue. Bueno Silva wanted to continue, felt like she could. You know, I don't know why they can't, but I do understand a little that it is a big gash and you don't want it to get worse. Bueno Silva did ended up losing. Macy Chasson won by knockout at a +700. Good for you guys. I lost with Maya Bueno Silva, unfortunately. I had her by submission and to just win in general. Next, we had Roman Dolidze against Anthony Smith. Roman Dolidze coming up from middleweight to fight Anthony Smith on short notice at light heavyweight, as well as Anthony Smith fighting on fighting on short notice at light heavyweight as well. I mean, that's his normal weight class, but anyway, Roman Dolidze won a decision. Anthony Smith, I thought, did nothing. He looked slow. He looked old. I think he might have won maybe 1 round. But he complained at the end saying, next time, can you give me more time? I mean, man, you're 37 and 20. You don't look like you're improving. You're looking like you're slowing down quite a lot. I think he's focusing more on analytics and being a commentator on some of these UFC things more than being a fighter. I think he should probably retire personally. I mean, if you can't beat Roman Dolidze on short notice, a guy who's, you know, doesn't look that impressive on the feet and is somehow out decisioning you, I think you should just hang up the gloves. I had Anthony Smith to win, and he ended up losing as an underdog. Next, we had Dan Ige, short notice. Brian Ortega, 103-degree fever. 4 hours notice. Dan 50K Ige walking into the stadium was asked, "Hey, you want to fight Diego Lopez?" And Dan Ige's like, "Well, let's see." Because he's fought on a card a couple months ago, 4 months ago, I believe. So he has all of his medical work in order. And Dan weighed in 165. Diego Lopez weighed in 161. Diego Lopez was supposed to fight 145. It was moved to 155 against Brian Ortega. Brian Ortega was sick, 103-degree fever, and it was moved up to 165 catch weight. Diego Lopez ended up winning a hard-fought decision. He got rocked in the last round after Dan was kind of piecing him up some rounds with some nasty shots. Diego was just landing more volume and ended up winning those first 2 rounds. And Dan Ige rocked the fuck out of him in the 3rd round and almost finished Diego Lopez, but unfortunately made a big mistake in going to Diego's guard. He closed the guard and could not finish from trying to push off the face and posture up. I did have Dan Ige. I just put a sprinkle a little bit of money because I already won money earlier in the night on Dan. I thought he could knock him out, and just did not happen. Next, we had the main event of the evening. If you guys won some cash on the card, congratulations. If you guys enjoyed the card, I mean, it was a good one to enjoy. We had Alex Pereira against Yuri Procházka. I picked Yuri Procházka, or excuse me, Alex Pereira to get a round 2 knockout. He dropped Yuri after beating the shit out of him in the first round with a left hook. Dropped him in the last 2 seconds of the round. Fight clock, fight horn sounded. Yuri was allowed up. Stumbled over to his corner, and me and my buddy looked at each other right here and said, "It's over. We're gonna win." And we dabbed each other up. Before the round 2 even started, I just knew it was coming because Yuri was still rocked. You could see it in the corner. He looked dazed. He looked like he wasn't there. Alex dropped the nastiest head kick I've ever seen him drop and dropped Yuri Procházka to the ground. BJP was left on the ground and got knocked the fuck out. It was a good stoppage by Herb. Alex improves. He looks like a world beater right now at 36 years of age. He looks like he's in his prime. He looks like he's never going to lose. And he looks like he's going to sit at light heavyweight and on top of the throne for a very long time. That's all I got for you guys. I was just going through a quick breakdown of the card. I really enjoyed the card. I thought I should get it through now. As you can see, I got nasty bags under my eyes right now. I'm exhausted, but I enjoyed the card so much that I felt like I had to talk about it. It was a really good fight. I really felt like Cub Swanson won. I understand how they give... I guess they give it to Philly because he's old, man. But Cub Swanson won that 3rd round, I felt. Anyway, I hope you guys have an incredible day. Enjoy your Sunday. And hopefully you guys enjoyed the card like I did. Peace.